This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thank you, Susan. I'll call the meeting to order. Meeting Committee of Adjustment '09 of 2023. Welcome to committee members and our guests tonight. Quick thing, let me just introduce everybody with these online things. I'm Bob McRae. I'm the chair. We have members here. I'm going to go around: Dave Carbert, Eric Fournier, Corinne Pollard, Jerry. Has phoned in. Jerry Reed, and that's our members, staff members. David Trotman and our secretary Susan Pottle, and guests. Welcome. So. Uh, Number one, working through this call to order. Number two, emergency exits. Everybody's in their homes or offices. If you got a problem, you know how to get out. Point number three on our agenda to committee members. Conflicts of pecuniary interest, you can declare them now or at any other point during the meeting. Digressing a little bit, and that for members and for guests, just so that you know, this meeting is not being live broadcast, but it is being recorded so that Mono residents can see what went on after the fact later on. So that, just so you know about that, the meeting is being recorded. On our agenda, number four, which is the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Committee members, do I have someone to move that we approve the agenda, please? Corinne, moved by
I'll
Corinne,
move.
seconded by
I'll second it.
Eric Fournier. Thank you. Any objections to the minute or to the agenda? I'm sorry. And seeing none, moving on, item number five, approval of our minutes of our last Committee of Adjustment session, which was '08 of 2023. Committee members, are there any, I'm looking for mine here, any corrections, changes that you want to make to the minutes of the '08 of 2023?
I will move them adopted as read.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry. A seconder, please.
I'll second it again.
Eric, seconded by Eric. Any objections to the minutes? Seeing none, they are approved. Agenda item number six, public question period. For those of you that have not been to a Committee of Adjustment meeting, I will explain. All of our meetings are public meetings. They are open to the public. And we always give an opportunity if there's someone from the public who has any questions, which we're at right now. If anybody has any questions, other than ones that might relate to the application. So are there any questions from anybody in the public there? Seeing none, we're going to move on to what we're really here for tonight, which is the application for public meeting. This is application A09-23. The applicant, Charles Barkworth. Charles, welcome tonight. The official plan designation is rural and the zoning is rural A. The purpose, as it's in our agenda here, minor variance application to permit a second dwelling for a family member on a property that is 4.22 hectares, whereas 10 hectares is required to allow a secondary dwelling per section 5 LI of the Town of Mono zoning bylaw 78-1 as amended. So that is the purpose of the application tonight. So we always have the same process here. Just for those of you that are not familiar with it, I've just introduced that. I'm going to ask our Director of Planning, Dave Trotman, to discuss the application. Then it will be the opportunity for the applicant and or their representatives to discuss the application. After that, we'll turn it over and committee members can ask questions or comments. After that, I will open it up to the public if anybody has any questions or comments. And then after all that's done, then the committee will deliberate on it and vote on it. So I hope that that's clear. And that at any point, if it's unclear, please don't hesitate to ask questions. So first thing, Dave Trotman, our Director of Planning, who's going to unmute himself and turn his camera on so that we can see that halo above his head. And Dave, the floor is yours to discuss the application, please.
Okay, thanks, Chair Bob. So this application is like a couple of others we've seen in the past where someone wants to put a secondary dwelling on a lot area in the rural area that has area less than 10 hectares. So there's a requirement under the general provisions of the zoning bylaw, section 5.1I sub I, that speaks to minimum lot area of 10 hectares, about 25 acres. And Mr. Barkworth is saying he's asking for relief to put a secondary dwelling on his 10 acres, or about 4 hectares and change, for his family member, I believe his mother-in-law. I guess obviously to accommodate her needs. That's understandable in an age of a growing population, I think. And we've seen this kind of scenario before. Based on the planning merits, though, you know, is there merit to do so relative to the official town plan policy and the zoning bylaw intent of its framework under the rural provisions, which is, of course, the general provisions, some of them anyway under section 5, and then mostly under section 20, which is the rural A zone. So property zoned rural, designated rural. There is a regulated area on it through the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, but both the existing house and the proposed new dwelling are outside of it. So we did get comments from the NVCA. They don't really have an issue. We did reach out to MTO, have not heard back, been in the balance. Although we still need to hear from them definitively. I mean, I don't know they'll have much to say. The driveway doesn't change. The requirement is that the second house must use the existing driveway, which is what this scenario does. So it's not trying to be a leading or backdoor arrangement to a severance. It simply is wanting a secondary dwelling on the property in proximity to the primary dwelling. I suspect we will get very dry comments back from MTO if we get them at all. I noted that in the recommendation, though, just to come full circle on that, and the same as well with the Upper Grand School Board. It adds one house, so people arrangement impacts should be, I won't say negligible, but minimal. Well, they will be negligible with the mother-in-law there, but in the longer term, minimal. I have no fundamental issue with this application. The only test they have to meet, and Mr. Barkworth's consultant, Van Harden, is going to conduct this, and that is minimum distance separation. Now, I know the area, I've checked the area. There's nothing that I can see that would merit a livestock operation in hand and process or feasible down the road. Not within what I think would be a prescribed trigger area, but those calculations are going to be done by Van Harten. So OMAFRA, the Ministry of Agriculture, requires that to be done. Mr. wasn't aware of that, but I did say I would contact Van Harten, have them do that as well. They're going to do it. Until we get that in, and by the way, I'm not expecting any surprises there as well on Van Harten's MDS calculation, but I have identified it as a condition. So the only real peril to Mr. Barkworth would be that Van Harten finds that the house as proposed is going to be too close to an existing livestock operation. I don't see any in the area, or a livestock structure capable of holding livestock. I don't think we're going to have any surprises there. The condition is in there anyway. And I guess if we were to reach that surprise, there might be some wiggle room on the property to relocate it if indeed that were to happen. I doubt that it will. I think what we're going to hear back from Van Harten is there's no impact through MDS. So my recommendation provides that it be supported by the committee and with the usual requisite list of conditions. And really, that's about it.
Okay, David, thank you. One question before I ask committee members for their questions and comments, which this is what I've been doing the last couple of times. Your recommendation and the conditions that you've laid out there, Dave, have those been discussed with Mr. Barkworth, and is he in agreement with the conditions? Dave, unmute. Dave, unmute, please.
Got it.
Thank you.
No, I did not. I have to confess, I wasn't able to go through them per item. I did discuss the MDS one with him, though, which is probably the most significant. And a number of reasons why in this past few weeks, Bob. Let me just leave it at that, including some legal stuff with 2 applications. So no, I didn't go through them item by item. They're standard in my view anyway, but I did discuss the MDS one with him because that's the one that would be of real significance.
Okay, Dave, thank you. And I do understand that they are pretty standard, but at any rate, I'll ask Mr. Barkworth that later. Dave, thank you. With that, I'm going to turn this over to committee. Corinne, can I ask you to begin, please?
Yeah, that was my only question with regards to the minimal distance separation. I know looking at the maps and the pictures that were presented, it looked almost like there was a farm barn and operation, but I didn't see a house that was included. So I wasn't sure what was behind the specific property being affected, whether or not there was potential for that farm operation behind or not. So that was my question with regards to, but Dave already covered off the stipulation with regards to them doing the MDS, and other than that, I have no concerns other than minimal distance separation. I have no objections to the application.
Very good. Thank you, Corinne. Eric, can I ask you, please, questions, comments? Unmute yourself. And
when I look through the criteria that the committee has to consider, I've always looked, and the committee has considered in the past, that when we talk about the general intent and purpose of the bylaws and official plan, the provincial policy statement, I think, gives us guidance there in the desirability of residential intensification. But we also have to look at whether or not a proposed development is desirable. So what I really like to see on applications like this is some kind of sketch or layout, some kind of plan that we can look at and look at the proposed development so that we can then satisfy ourselves as a committee that it is a desirable or appropriate use for the land. This application didn't contain that sketch. And I think going forward, we should look to have a sketch or some kind of idea that we know a little bit more about what the proposed dwelling is going to be. However, in this case, Dave has put the condition in that it's going to be approximately 1,000 square feet. That's such a small layout that I'm not that concerned. I think that anything that small will fit with that desirability criteria. But in the future, I would want to see applications like this contain a sketch, layout, some kind of plan that we can look at to satisfy ourselves that it is desirable for the development of the land. But otherwise, I'm content with this.
very good. Thank you, Eric. Dave, you have a point, please.
No.
There was a sketch that Mr. Barkworth prepared. It was somewhat hand-drawn, attached to the application. which is uploaded to a active plan applications. That's the link on the top of the first page, right after.
I checked that link a few minutes ago. It was not, I didn't see a sketch. There was a site plan, but I'm talking about the dwelling itself.
Oh,
I have
the
a picture
floor
of the dwelling itself
No,
here.
either a
How
floor
about
plan
floor
or a little
plan?
outline.
Okay, I see. I misunderstood. I thought you meant
And
like a
we've had
site.
that in all we've had that in all the prior applications except the one where it was just a matter of the distance. We've always had that in the application package.
Hey,
No,
everybody, I think
we got a
Mr.
floor
Barkworth is holding that up.
I see that.
All right, yes. Again, that was not part of the package, but that is, and again,
Yeah,
in this
I
case,
have a floor plan.
because it's such a small dwelling, I'm comfortable with it. But I just want to make the note that I'd like to see that in any application package of this nature.
Okay,
Good
that's
point,
a
Eric.
fair enough ask. That's a fair enough ask. I'm trying to remember to do that. So sketch complete with floor plan. Okay, I've noted that.
Okay, very good. Charles, thank you for showing us the sketch. Eric, is that it? Are you done?
Yeah, no, I'm content with the application again because of it's 1,000 square feet. It's not a large dwelling. I think that satisfies me that it's desirable for the appropriate development of the land.
Very good. Thank you, Eric. Dave Carbert, you're up, please. Oh, Dave Trotman, you had a.
Just a quick follow-up. If you go to condition 8A, you'll see I prescribed a range of GFA that was reflective of what Mr. Barkworth wants. So not to pick on Mr. Barkworth, but I am going to pick on you for just a minute, Mr. Barkworth, to make my point. If Mr. Barkworth came forward later after, say, an approval by council with a 10,000 square foot home, we would circle back and say to Dufferin County Building, no, you can't issue a permit for 10,000 square feet. We had a minor variance for approximately about 1,000 square foot home. But I get the point about visual floor plan, though, Eric, as well. I do get that. So.
Yeah. No, and I noted that as well in the conditions, and again, that gives me the comfort that I want.
Very good. Thank you. Dave Carbert, please.
I have no objections. I'm looking at the actual land survey plan, and I believe the approximate location and size of the shed in the frame garage is going to be bigger than the house. I got no objections at all.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Jerry Reed, please.
Yeah, I looked at the site today and I don't have any objection to it at all. It's going to fit in the size really well, and I agree that the MDS isn't going to bother it. I don't think there'll be any livestock operation or whatever. One thing I noted there, though, for Dave Trotman, are they apt to require a separate well, potable well under your 8D, potable water well?
We were going to use the same well. I have a 6-inch drilled well.
That's what I would think would make sense. It's just that Dave had made note that the county might want a separate one, and I would hope we wouldn't have to do that.
I was counting on a separate septic system. That was it. Separate.
Yeah.
Septic.
It's noted as condition number 8D, Jerry. I mean, it's probably a call for Dufferin County Building. They'll make the call on that. If they have an issue with one water well as opposed to two, they won't issue a permit. And if they require two, then two it shall be. And it's the same with the septic system. So I have noted as condition number 8D. And really, that's something that Dufferin County Building would follow up.
Sure. Okay. So no, I don't have any objection to it at all. I will support it for sure.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Jerry. Last, my turn. Also, I have no objections to this and will be supporting it completely. Now, just to prove why I should have the list in front of me of the order that we do this, all of this. Charles, I apologize. You were supposed to have an opportunity and/or your representatives to speak after Dave Trotman spoke. Having heard that you've got unanimous support for your application, maybe you don't have to, but if there's anything else that you want to tell us, this is your opportunity.
No, I wouldn't want to put my foot in my mouth. So yeah, everything's going good.
No, you're a smart man. When you get the right answers, you shut up and that. So thank you. But I was remiss, and I should have given you that opportunity. But you got a better answer anyhow. So
Yeah.
la-
Thank you,
last
everybody there.
okay, last but not least, though, if there's anybody else online here who have any questions about this, I see one name there, but this is your opportunity. If anybody else online has any questions or comments, I'll ask for those now. And hearing none. With that, then, committee members, Dave, is this, I'm just about to go to a motion. Is this,
I'm just inquiring on a certain Lorraine Skipwith who's online. Is it an
That's my
independent landowner?
mother-in-law.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's who's going to
Understood.
be living in the little
Dave,
house.
Dave Trotman, I just asked the question. We heard nothing. I'm not going to make
My camera
individual
freezes.
invitations. So I think we've covered all of that off. Lorraine, welcome. With that, then, committee members, do we have someone who will move the motion, please?
Yeah, I'll move the motion to accept based on the conditions presented by Dave Trotman to approve the application.
I'll
Very good.
second
Thank you.
accordingly.
Moved by Corinne Pollard, seconded by Dave Carbert. Committee members, any objections to that? And seeing none, then Charles, consider your application subject to the conditions approved by Town of Mono Committee of Adjustment.
Thank you very much. We'll be on to our builders and we'll start this process.
Please communicate with with town staff, with Dave Trotman and that to carry on with the rest of this process. But the
Yes.
committee has approved your application. Dave Trotman again, please. Dave?
Yeah, so Charles, you're going to get a notice of decision from this, which is a summary of committee's approval. And it will also cite the conditions in my report.
All right, the MDS and so forth. Yes.
And you have to fulfill those leading up to an application to Dufferin County Building for a building permit, okay?
Yes.
So read them carefully, get your experts involved as need be, whoever they might be, starting with Van Hart and your lawyer if you need be, to fulfill those conditions. And they're pretty straightforward and they're very readable. You have any problems, you can give me a ring, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
I'll let the two of you sort all of that out. So very good. With that, Charles, thank you. Annette, the committee's got a couple more things here, but you don't have to hang around for them. Go watch the Blue Jays game and pray that they remembered how to play baseball tonight.
All right, thank you very much, and
Thank you.
goodbye.
Have a good night. Thank you. Okay, moving along. I was going to go to other business. Dave Carbert, you had your hand up.
No, Trotman did. It wasn't me.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing things. Look, I got cataract surgery on both eyes, and I've got these fancy $1.25 reading glasses from the dollar store. So I could, who knows what I'm seeing anymore. Okay, other business. I have one, and then I'll ask committee members if they have any. We have to talk about the secretary of our committee. The secretary, as we all know, Susan Pottle has left the town of Mono for the planning department at the town of Orangeville. she is the secretary of this committee. And I guess I could say I consulted a lawyer because I did talk with Eric about this, full disclosure. Until we remove Susan as the secretary, she's it. So, Susan, thank you. Susan agreed to do this meeting. As I say, she is not employed by the town of Mono now, but she agreed to do this. But moving forward for the next meeting, it's not sustainable that Susan will be the secretary. So with that, um, I've never been in this position before, and that Eric, you are our resident lawyer. Uh, do we need to move a motion to remove Susan as the secretary?
Not yet. We need to, David, what's the progress on finding a new planning assistant or technician? Has there been any, are we getting anywhere?
We've had some applications come in. I've got to remember what the deadline is for submission, no, we have not gone into interviews at this point in time. We have applications coming in by email this past week and a half.
All right, but it's, I mean, it's in progress.
It's in progress. We're going to have to vet a number of those applications and select people if they have suitable qualifications for interview.
You know, I don't think we need a motion right now to remove Susan. Once we have someone lined up, we'll have, as a committee, have to vote on appointing a new secretary.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. Dave Carbert?
So my question to you, Bob, is how did you wrangle Susan into covering this meeting?
Charm.
Charm, yeah.
Well, you better turn that charm on very heavy duty, because it could be a few weeks before we're in a position to even have a choice.
I wish I had some charm. I was a long time in professional sales, maybe some. Susan, as we all know, is a wonderful person, and she was involved with this application until she left, and I discussed it with her, and I discussed it with Dave Trotman. For my thinking was that it would make sense if she was able to do it, that she, did her usual job here tonight. She agreed to do that. Full disclosure, we are compensating her for this, which is only fair. So
Well, take it out of Dave's budget and keep her up, because she's excellent.
Yeah.
We miss you, Susan. You're not even gone yet.
Yeah. Susan
It actually comes out of the treasurer's, but well.
Hey, for what we pay in taxes, go for it, Dave. We can afford it.
Yeah. Well, we haven't been paying Susan's salary for the last couple of weeks, and Susan.
Excellent.
Sorry.
I said, look at the savings already. There, Dave, you just gained on your budget.
Yeah. No, Susan was very kind and agreed to do this. So we're in your debt for that, Susan. Thank you. And went above and beyond the call of duty and hand delivered our meeting packages the other night.
Yes, she did. Thank you. That was good.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So Susan will be. We're an open committee. Susan will be submitting an invoice to the town of Mono for this, and we have agreed on I think it's a fair amount to pay her for all the work that she's done. She also her job's not done quite yet, because she will be preparing the minutes for this meeting and more important, the decision, which will be sent out, and I'm assuming that'll be sent out. Susan, you're going to send that out on and ask us to reply back to Dave Trotman
Yes.
that we agree to that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'll draft it. I'll send it to David and he'll have to send it out.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so Dave Trotman, you're going to have to do that within the required time period. Committee members, everybody's been great in sending their agreement to the decisions back really fast. So that's how we're going to handle this one. We won't have Susan in, let me just see. And that's one of my next points here. Our next meeting, because I know there are some applications, correct, Dave Trotman? There are active applications for an October 26th meeting. Dave Trotman? Dave Trotman, can you
There's
hear
some
me?
active applications to be sure. I can hear you. One of them which I still have to discuss whether they meet the requirements, Bruce Trail Conservancy, because they have not owned the land for 5 years. The other one or two, I think I just can't recall. I've been up to my eyeballs in appeals review right now. So I'll check and see. I've got to confer with our town solicitor if need be on the Bruce Trail file, only because on the one hand, they're a nonprofit. But on the other hand, they don't meet the 5-year test, and that could still be a precedent. And that's a significant one because, as the saying goes,
Dave Trotman, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we don't need to know the details of that tonight. We're going to leave that with you, and you're going to determine whether everything is there to bring this to a committee of adjustment meeting on October 26th. So I'm going to leave that with you.
sounds good.
And beyond that, are there others? Are we expecting to have applications for an October 26th meeting? I'm not hearing anything in your unmute.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know as chair.
Okay. Well, and so
I haven't.
Say again.
I have had not recent submissions for committee of adjustment in the past few weeks.
Okay, thank you. So committee members, just keep October 26th still in your planners. And once Dave Trotman determines if we've got some
I
finished.
stand corrected. I stand corrected. We do have an application from Corinne. But again, timing I'll have to see. I'll let you know, Bob. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, everybody, please keep that date in your planners. And once I hear from Dave Trotman, I'll let everybody know. And that we will not have Susan as the secretary for that meeting. So one of the first things we're going to have to do is to appoint a secretary, and we'll work through that. Again, as I say, I've never been involved with this situation before. We'll figure it out.
And just a reminder before you go, Susan has to remain the secretary until she signs our notice of decision, because she is our appointed secretary and that decision has to be signed by her.
Yes. Eric, thank you for that. Yeah, no, we're until Susan is Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, please. Until Susan is replaced, regardless of whether she works for the town of Mono or not, until she's replaced, she is the secretary of the town of Mono.
She does have the option of quitting.
Ah, Susan's not a quitter.
Well, we just want to cut her off. Her options here.
Okay, Eric, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm being frivolous here, but thank you. Yeah, we can, she can quit. We can,
We can
I'm
chase
just,
her down though.
Not until the check
sorry?
is cashed.
Yeah, yeah, no, and, so, yeah, good point. But anyhow, we'll figure it out. We'll all figure it out. So, other members, any other business?
I have one item, and that's,
Yeah,
it's selfish, but I'm online tonight and I can't see anybody. I can't get you, I can't raise it. I don't know what's happening here, but anyway, I can see who's talking and who, whatever, and my picture's on my screen, but I'm not getting anybody. So I don't know whether that's a glitch somewhere or whether it's my glitch. Might be.
Jerry, that's a good question. I don't know.
You need to
Everybody, is everybody else?
close your application and restart it again. It just didn't load properly.
Yeah, well, I wondered about that, but it showed that I wasn't at the last one either, and I was, so I just wanted to, maybe I'm doing something wrong, so I'll figure it out.
Okay,
That's a
well,
weird one.
yeah, no, I don't know. Everybody else have, I call it the Hollywood squares. Everybody's pictures there. Has everybody else got that? I do.
Yep, I do.
Everything's always good. Trotman has got quite a bit of latency in his internet. So
Yeah, yeah, Dave Trotman, you still haven't talked with Rogers up there in Wasaga Beach. You were freezing again.
So Bob, I'll answer that as briefly as I can. I've been fighting with a chest infection. I'm off tomorrow, and my third call of the day after I get some sleep in the morning is to call Rogers, and I'm going to deal with Rogers because I've been with him since 1991. So I'm going to give them a bit of hell and say,
good for
get
you.
my what is it, Ignite 150 relaunched so I don't keep getting frozen tag at my meetings.
Yeah,
You know
crazy.
what? I'm going to say this, and
Excuse me.
maybe I shouldn't. The town's
So
choice
that's one of the things
of
I'm going to do more on my day off.
sorry.
I think it is my internet. I do, because when I was at the conference this past week with the hotel internet, it was super fast on my laptop. So it's probably Rogers, even though I'm in an urban area on broadband. Anyway,
Okay.
I won't belabor that. I'm
Yeah.
calling them tomorrow, Dave, so you know.
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to get.
Check it out. I don't know the town's choice of the meeting company GoTo versus Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Cisco WebEx. I've got them all on my desktop here. It's just my opinion that some are better than others. I'll just leave it at that so that we're not libelous to the town. But we've brought it up before, and some people at the town are reluctant to change. So that's their business. But at any rate, that's
Bob,
it.
I just wanted to address Jerry's comment. Jerry, if you're having problems with GoTo or you want to check in with Andrew, I think he'd be more than willing to look at it with you. What do you think, David? I don't know if any of you have brought your laptops in if you ever have issues to check into it, but I think that's like a possibility, or Andrew can get in touch.
No, I can do that, Susan. That's not a problem. I know I have called in on my cell phone before, but the last two
Yeah.
meetings it showed that I was online and I wasn't, or that I was on telephone and I actually wasn't. So, but not a problem. We'll
Oh,
look after it.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Susan, I laugh when you talk about bringing laptops in. Myself being a traditional, I'll say traditional, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my really big desktop computer here. So when I retired, I had no need to be carrying around a laptop anywhere. So I just got a big old desktop box. So anyhow, there we go. Anybody else? Any other comments? And Susan, can I ask you, I did want to talk about the invoice you're going to give us. Not here. Will you phone me tomorrow or next week before you write that up, please?
Yeah, sure, Bob. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, just give me a shout about that, please, and then we'll sort that out so that you can get paid for all your work in that. So I guess the last thing, committee members, thank you. As always, we did good work here tonight. I'm always proud of the work that we do. And that Dave Trotman, thank you for the good work that you've done with this. And last but not least, Susan, thank you for all the wonderful work that you have done in your time with us. Yes, thank you for that. You're going to do a great job at the town of Orangeville and that. So good luck with all of that.
We're gonna miss you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Here, here.
We'll miss you, but congratulations.
Thank you. Eric, I'll be in touch about the notice of decision.
I know you didn't do
Yeah,
well
all right.
there, but
Okay. Anything else, anybody? Seeing none, then we'll.
no, I want to thank Susan for actually going out to do this. I mean, that's above and beyond, and irrespective if she's going to get her reasonable compensation for this, she didn't have to. So I really do appreciate that. And if it's not working out for you down there, Susan, you can always come back. And I would certainly make sure that I re-sweeten that offer even more. But I'm only half joking.
Well, it's listen. This is being recorded, Dave Trotman. This is being recorded. It's on the record now.
It's on the record. But I get the 10-minute walk from home. I understand that. As a parent, I surely do. So.
Yeah. Well, if you hear from the new CAO saying you said what, you'll know.
Oh, by the way, Bob, you like to be on the cusp of new information.
Yeah.
And this isn't major. I mean, well, first of all, you all know that Leland's got put back in the green belt, and that should be old news at this point, I think. That Premier Ford did backpedal on that. I love him or hate him. I actually have some respect on him for that reconsideration. He reflected on that and said, you know what, I don't want to use the word that starts after the letter E, but he reconsidered and put those lands back in. And anyway, they've got other things to do to make more housing.
Well, we don't want to debate that, but what's
the update? The update is that Cody Jordy has taken a position as CAO at the region of Queens back in his home province of Nova Scotia, which is west of Halifax. So his son is there, and he did mention it today at the planners online Dufferin County meeting today. And he'll be leaving Dufferin County, I think it's October the 20th. So we'll call it towards the end of October to go back to his home province of Nova Scotia. So Sonia Pritchard, Sonia's going to be looking for another planning director for Dufferin County. But be that as it may, Silva's there to hold the ship until things settle out there as well. So that news came out today. So I'm just sharing that with committee.
Interesting. Thank you. Did you dust off your resume? Not expecting an answer, Dave. It's a joke.
It's further south of Mono, Bob. The answer would be no on that score.
All right. With that, then, somebody want to move that we adjourn the meeting at 7:46? Moved by Corinne, seconded by Jerry, and no objections. Everybody, thank you again. Wonderful job as usual, and that appreciate it. Everybody, have a good night. And I'm going to go see if the Blue Jays remembered how to play baseball. So everybody.